Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. In this video, we will be discussing the lessons learned from chapter number 2 of the Quran, also known as Surah Al Baqarah. This chapter is the longest chapter in the Quran and contains many important teachings that we can apply to our daily lives as Muslims. So let us dive in. Lesson number 1, belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first lesson we learn from Surah Al Baqarah is the importance of belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In verse number 255, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah, there is no deity except Him, the ever-living, the sustainer of all existence. This verse reminds us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one and only God, and we should worship Him alone. We should have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and trust in His plan for us. Lesson number 2, guidance from the Quran. The second lesson we can learn from Surah Al Baqarah is the importance of guidance from the Quran. In verse number 2, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is the book about which there is no doubt, a guidance for those conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This verse reminds us that the Quran is a source of guidance for us as Muslims. We should strive to read and understand the Quran and apply its teachings to our daily lives. Lesson number 3, patience and perseverance. The third lesson we learn from Surah Al Baqarah is the importance of patience and perseverance. In verse number 153, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O you who have believed, seek help from patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. This verse reminds us that we should be patient in times of difficulty and turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. We should persevere through challenges and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's plan for us. Lesson number 4, brotherhood and unity. In verse number 143, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and thus we have made you a just community, that you will be witness over the people, and the messenger will be a witness over you. This verse reminds us that we should work together as a community and support one another. We should strive to be just and fair in our dealings with others and be united in our efforts to spread goodness and righteousness in the world. Lesson number 5, charity and generosity. The fifth lesson we learn from Surah Al Baqarah is the importance of charity and generosity. In verse number 261, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the example of those who spread their wealth in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like a seed of grain which grows 7 spikes. In each spike is 100 grains, and Allah multiplies His reward for whom He wills. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all-encompassing and knowing. This verse reminds us that we should be generous with our wealth and give to those in need. We should strive to help others and make a positive impact in the world. In conclusion, Surah Al Baqarah contains many valuable lessons that we can apply to our daily lives as Muslims. We should have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seek guidance from the Quran, be patient and persevere through challenges, work together as a community, and be generous and charitable towards others. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us on the straight path and help us to embody these teachings in our lives. Jazakumullahu khairan for watching, and until next time, Assalamu alaikum.